This video was going to be a continuation of the last video, Bee's Knees Part 2, but it's not. Instead, we are going to take a deep dive into squats. Bee's Knees Part 1, I mentioned that your knees shouldn't cave inward when you squat. I didn't tell you why. I didn't tell you why you should care. So for this video, I got brand new footage and I'm going to go over it here. Okay, Alana, pause at the bottom of your squat. Boom. Now my quadricep muscle is circled. That muscle, there's a few of them, so then it's more or less right there. But it's supposed to help me push back up into a standing position. Boom. All right, that red circle-y thing and that red arrow, those are covering my adductors. So if I'm at the bottom of my squat and my quadriceps are weak and they're not strong enough to send my body back upwards, they're going to ask the adductors for help, especially if my glutes aren't turned on, but more on glutes for a later segment. So if my quads are weak, my glutes are weak, or just not turned on, the adductors are going to take over and pull my leg in towards my body, like you can see here. But that's enough of me, so I'm going to tag Team Kaya in, and she's going to tell you guys why you should care. Kaya here. This is my bone. We're going to pretend it is your patella. Please do not use this as an anatomy lesson. But this rubber band on the side of my patella, that is my ligament. This would not be my ACL ligament. If it's on the side, this is actually going to end up being my MCL ligament over here on the side. The ACL would be more behind the patella, and it is susceptible to tears, and I'll get to that in a second. But let's take this other bone here. We'll call it your femur. And if my knee goes inward on a squat, the femur is going to push my patella and that ligament inward and stretch it out a little bit. Excuse me, as I could use another paw here, and clearly Kai is not helping, but you can see as I tug on the rubber band, it stretches out and it tears, and your ligaments have a lot less elasticity than a rubber band does, so it's even more susceptible to a tear. So enjoy that patella bone, Kaya. We're going to rewind and go back a little bit so I could talk about the ACL that I mentioned. So say you're playing soccer and all of a sudden this white arrow, boom, that's another player's knee, hit your knee, and now you just tore your ligament. But the ACL, like I said, it's not on the side of the patella and the femur. You can see Kai is looking for it. I'm not sure if she's going to find it, but she will tell you that because of its location, if you have any worn down cartilage there, the shearing of those bones together is going to make it easier to stretch that tendon, and unlike a rubber band, your tendon will tear if stretched too much. Okay, I'm back, and I apologize because I know watching Kaya chew a bone is a lot nicer on the eyes than watching a set of knees, but I'm going to show you some mini band exercises you could do, just like this one, where I'm just pulsing with each leg to the side, and then I'm going to go both at once. My feet are staying on the ground for the most part. This is teaching my knees what they should be doing, so notice that they're not caving in, and it's also helping glute activation. This next one, same position, just doing full squatting. It's doing the same thing with the knees and the glutes. So these mini band exercises aren't very sport specific to soccer, but they are necessary just to start building up the proper strength and muscle balance that we need for soccer. This next one really helped me out when I was fixing my own knee valgus. I'm just sitting down and I'm pushing my knees out, holding it for about 5 seconds, and then just coming back in, relaxing for just a few seconds before I push back out. So I just passed 4 minutes, but rather than just keep throwing information on you, like what to do if your heels come up when you squat, how to fix it, where to grip the ground when you squat, and then we got some breath work to go over, some soccer ball squeezes, and I really just scratched the surface with glutes. But like I was saying, rather than just overload you with information, go out and apply some of this stuff, and then when you come back soon for part 2, we still have a lot to cover with the foundations of squatting, and then once we get all that stuff down, we can start to apply it to more soccer specific stuff. We can go over shooting, cutting, jumping, all that fun stuff. Stay tuned.